We're just talking about Democrats and, hopefully saying we're not going to become overconfident because you know who is not up in the polls or all the polls. And so now that Joe Biden is up in some polls, you know who is kind of sagging, but is it a good idea for us to get overconfident? I mean, it's very dangerous. It happened, in 2016. People just thought, oh, well, this is in the bag. What do you think, Joy? Is it time for everybody to just continue to calmly do this, or you think it's better to get all excited?
Well, I already said that his Trump supporters are extremely enthusiastic, but you can add to that, and I think that Megan's point is taken, I take it anyway, and because Trump looks bad right now. But remember, don't forget about Putin. Putin wants him to go 4 more years so that he can totally destroy the democracy and other democracies around the world. Not to mention the fact that there is voter suppression going on right now. I read this morning that 95% of polling places in the state of Kentucky have been closed, and those are mostly in black communities. These are the type of things that they will do. And this propaganda that mail-in ballots are not good. You'll see, Sonny will discuss that, I think. It's important to notice that mail-in ballots have been working forever. And they're trying to interfere with that. So maybe his numbers are going down. Maybe Biden is not as exciting, but he's great and we love him and he's doing well. But remember the voter suppression and Russian interference. Those are the things that will destroy this country because they will put him in for another 4 years.
Sonny, you know who is tweeting about foreign countries printing phony mail-in ballots, and is this to get himself all fired up or to fire up his folks? Is it enough to make people not do it, do you think, or are people a little smarter than he's given them credit for?
Well, I think Joy's right. I think his base is going to be energized, right? I don't think that he's lost his base. But I do think that he is going to rely on voter suppression. I think he's going to rely on foreign interference in the same way that he relied upon it before. We know from Martha Raditz's reporting that he's already asking for the help of the Chinese government. He's already asking for President Xi's assistance in this election. And so he's courting those sorts of outside influences. He's also trying to bankrupt the Post Department. Why? Because he wants to disengage voters from being able to get their mail-in votes. But I don't think that you can underestimate the importance of the black vote. I know that I sound like a broken record and I say it all the time, but if you energize that base, and I think now is the time because of what's going on in our country, that base, the younger black voter, the folks that you're seeing in the streets, the folks that are very, very, very energized, especially if Joe Biden picks a woman of color, as Amy Klobuchar has asked him to do, I think that you will see an incredible, incredible voter turnout among black people, and that will push him certainly over the finish line. But I want to say one quick thing. My friend Crystal just texted me, and I've gotten texts from a bunch of people that her college-age daughter and all of her friends all registered for that rally. And that it was a big TikTok, apparently, movement, that the 18 to 22-year-old crowd was on it. And that you can't underestimate the importance of that voting bloc, and also the fact that they totally destroyed, I think, the Trump campaign's data, right? Voting data. And I think it's the information gathered from those registrants now is completely worthless to the Trump campaign. So there's something to be said about what happened at that rally and how the campaign recovers going forward in terms of just energizing that group. That group, I think, is going to be really, really instrumental going forward.
Good.
Actually, let us just say everybody needs to be instrumental going forward. This is one of the most important races we will ever live through. So everybody is needed. Not just the young people, everybody. You've got to get out and vote. If you need the change, you want the change, you've got to go out and make it. So Megan, do you think Democrats should be concerned and take that concern in through the next several months?
Well, first of all, I echo everything you just said, Whoopi. I agree that you can never take voters or a voting bloc for granted, especially in the Rust Belt, which ended up giving President Trump the win he got in 2016. What's fascinating to me is President Trump is normally very reactive when he's been wronged in any way. He fires people, he screams at people. He went on a rant during his rally talking about how he can drink water and showed how he can drink water because there were reports after the military graduation that he was stumbling. And what's weird to me is I was expecting to come into the show this morning with President Trump having a scalp. And right now, Brad Pascal is still running his campaign. And to Sonny's point, if you can get bamboozled by a bunch of teenagers on TikTok, you got some major problems. And I will say that pendulum swings all ways. That doesn't mean that a bunch of young people can't end up doing it to another candidate, one way or the other. I don't like this like cyber manipulation that can happen. Obviously, we're in an entirely new world right now. But it's weird to me that given that this was such an optic disaster for the Trump campaign, they're trying to spin this. It is not working. Not even, like I said in the last segment, not even Fox and Friends is buying it. So show us, if you are a Trump supporter, that you've been wronged by people like Brad Pascal, and it's not going to happen again. And right now, it just looks like President Trump is going to sit down and take it. And that is not a good look for someone like President Trump or his supporters.